right?
Yeah.
Yes. It takes a certain degree of ego to become successful.
Yes.
And snitches get stitches. What?
You are warm and fuzzy too. Don't kid yourself.
Welcome back to the Be Revolutionary podcast. I am your host, Andrew Perrie. This is the podcast where we ask the hard-hitting questions from Revel's top producers and head coaches and entrepreneurs. This episode, we have a very special guest, our furthest west,
Yes.
right?
West Side.
Yeah, there you
In
go.
the house.
The head coaches of London, Marcia and Stacey. So welcome to the podcast. We appreciate it. We know that it's, what is it, like 2.5 hours, 3 hour drive?
Just over 2.
Yeah,
And you guys came this morning?
we did bright and early.
So you left at what?
I grabbed her first, so I left at like 6:30.
I
Yeah.
had it easy. I only had to leave at 7:30.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
are you an hour away?
No, not usually. But
No, I'm house sitting in St. Mary, so
Oh,
that's why.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So, how's like, I went to school in London. I don't know if you guys remember it.
Right.
Have you seen that?
From when you came on Agent on Duty, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember that you had went to school in London, and that's how you know some of our realtor peeps in our hometown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. I loved London because it has a lot to offer in terms of history.
Yeah.
Just overall amenities. It has basically everything you need.
We don't have the vineyards that you guys have here,
Right.
but we do have a lot of breweries.
Yes,
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
definitely.
And it's Labatt is there, right? Or was?
Yeah,
Still is.
we're like beer town. I mean, we
Is
call
it?
Yeah.
ourselves like Forest City, but we're really beer town. We've got a lot of microbreweries. We've got,
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I know.
So, is there it's a hockey town too, right?
Yeah.
absolutely.
John Tavares, I believe,
Yeah.
played there
Yeah,
for the London
yeah, yeah.
Knights.
We even have like Drew Doughty, I believe, is one of our alumni as well.
Corey
and-
Perry?
Yeah,
Corey
Corey
Perry,
Perry.
for
I
sure.
remember. Okay, so I was at a bar called Jack's. Is that still there?
yeah.
So, I was thrown out of there once.
Welcome to the club.
Probably for the best.
yeah.
And I saw Corey Perry there.
Oh,
I'm like,
oh, wow.
Corey Perry, Andrew Perrie,
Mhm.
love ya. I think he was had just won the Stanley Cup with the Ducks.
Nice.
I
Wow.
think, if I remember correctly. I can't remember if he was on that roster, but I'm pretty sure he was. And he's like, I'm not Corey Perry. I'm like,
They all say that.
yeah, you are.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
you are.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. And anyways, I never got to meet him because apparently it wasn't him. But anyways,
Aw.
big hockey town. I remember that from when I was there. How is the real estate market there? Like, is there a lot of, because we get a lot of action from Toronto, although it has dried up over the past a few months now. But is that something that like people from the city are coming all the way over there?
I think we see a number of people still coming from the greater Toronto area. I mean, London has a lot of amenities, like you said,
Yeah.
but they're not the size of Toronto. So you get I'm going to say small town charm, but still have everything that you want.
Yeah. London's a little big town.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we get a lot of people from Mississauga, Brantford, anyone who's cashing out. Like I find we do. So the interesting thing about London is we're one of the only cities in Southern Ontario that isn't surrounded by a great body of water, right? So if you're looking at Windsor, which is
Yeah.
like our next major 2 hours down, they're surrounded by water. And then if you go further out, like Grand Bend, Port Stanley, larger water. So with us, we find, I think that there's been an interesting immigration pattern where we see more, I think we see more families than retirees, where the people who are immigrating from Toronto that are looking to retire, I get a lot of calls that they want to be by water. So
Right.
we're
Yeah.
going further south.
You get a lot of bang for the buck
Yeah.
when you're coming this direction or towards London, because people, I mean, one of my clients sold a $750,000 semi and then bought a 4-bedroom home and had money left over.
Yeah.
It was quite a move for them. And I don't think that that's unique to their scenario. I think it happens a lot.
Well, it's honestly, that's pretty on par to what semis are selling for here.
Yeah.
And if it's
Exactly.
a bungalow semi, that's
Yeah.
closer to $1 million.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, because we're definitely a retirement area. People
Yeah.
come to
Okay.
here. But I When I went to school there, I would drive on the highway, get off, and go to a bar on the beach. I forget what it was called. Something on the beach.
Is it
Jim Bob's on the
GT's?
yes.
GT's
So
on the
where
beach.
was that?
That's Port Stanley.
So is that
Yeah.
Lake Huron? Or is-
Erie.
Lake,
That's-
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Grand Bend is Huron.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
They're,
That's
they're
right.
easily confused.
And also, just as a hot tip, if you do come party back in London, Jack's is like the beginner bar. Joe
Yeah.
Cool's is where
Joe
the
Cool's.
actual Cool's is where the actual hockey players go.
Okay. And what about taps? It was like the high scale.
You might be dating yourself there.
I don't know.
mister.
Does it even still
Yeah,
exist?
Yeah, I know.
I
don't think so.
I'm 15 years out of college now, so yeah.
Oh my
Oh my
god,
God.
shocking. No. I graduated yesterday. Wait, is my Botox showing? Just joking.
So okay, so how long have you been in the business, Stacey?
So I started in 2011.
Okay.
And officially licensed 2012, but I was helping my former ex-partner build a brokerage.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay. And then Marcia, what about you? How long?
About the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what was it that made you reach out to us? Like what was it what was going on in your business at the time? What was maybe the main reason that attracted you guys to us? And you can say me if you want.
Are we talking about attractiveness or I'll let Marcia start. Here we go.
The overall vibe, the community connectedness, the marketing.
Yeah.
It was a really good feeling. It's not scientific to say that when we sat down with Nikki and Ryan that we felt very right. It felt like a good fit. It aligned with what we want to do with our business.
Yep.
And there was no need to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, it's true. And it's one of those things where London, although it is, a city, but you're right, it's a little big town. And, I think
Yeah.
Revel fits very well into these types of communities where,
much.
especially from what I hear about you guys, all the ladies that call me just say that you guys are great, by the way. Like, and
Oh,
so
yeah. Thank you.
when I'm either introduced to a recruit because of somebody that you guys have personally introduced me to,
Yeah.
which is a lot, or something that comes through the website or whatever, they all know you. And they
Hell
say,
yeah.
I start talking about how Revel's this, family style, cultured, focused brokerage. It's like, oh, I know. Stacey and Marcia are great. So it's like,
Yeah.
right? So it's almost like they're already sold just based
Yeah.
on the culture that you guys have.
We finesse them for you. We fluff them for you, Andrew. Like
Yes,
pretty much.
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's
I barely
what we
have to do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
But
Well.
it's not just, since they've known you since before Revel as
Yes.
well. And that's what's brought them to us is
Yeah.
because of how you have run your business and how you treat people.
Well, nothing's
Yeah.
Right.
changed. Like,
Exactly.
we just keep being the people that we are, doing the things that we love to do. And Revel has been a really great platform to facilitate more of the same and better.
I really love
For
that.
me, it was the
That
business
great.
model. Definitely the business model. Because I did run a brokerage with my former partner before.
Yep.
And it was hard going back to being a solo agent. And I was looking for something, like Marcia had said, that kind of fit that brand that we were. Because we're classy dames, but we've
Yeah.
got character. And often we hear, is it, we should
Sometimes a
hear
lot of
is
character.
like, charmingly characteristic. Yes.
Yes.
But we like in our market, people will say it should be called Rebel instead of Revel because we're kind of changing things. And I think
Yes.
that that's part of being revolutionary, where I think that you're seeing a changing of the guards, right? And our generation, like 40 something,
No.
I think that there's a different way of doing business. And I think that
agree.
we're shifting from the traditional sales approach to the consultant's approach. And I think people are looking for genuine authenticity. And that's the
Yes.
thing, like we joke around about our charmingly inappropriate humor. But I think that's what sets us apart and what makes us real. We're not afraid to tell it like it is. We're not trying to sell people. We're not doing the hard sell. I think what we're doing is providing quality, we're providing heart, and we're providing results. And I think that that's really what Revel also stands for. Like when you look at any of the people or any of the branding or any of the events that you go to, you see quality, you see heart, you see family, and you see results. Like We're
Mhm.
one of the fastest growing brokerages, like mini brokerages, micro brokerages. You know what I mean? Like it's gone from a mom and pop shop to now like a recognizable brand.
Yeah.
300 agents.
Yeah.
350.
It's wonderful.
300, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I love that because every podcast that we've done here for Be Revolutionary
Mhm.
and a lot of people that I talk to on an ongoing basis, that it's true. We don't try to sell people,
No.
clients
You
or
don't need to.
realtors.
No.
And it's more of attracting your tribe.
Yeah.
And so we always talk about that. And I bring this up in our Join the Revolution first meetings when we're talking to a new recruit or a potential veteran or whatever, where we could have easily been at 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 realtors if we really wanted to. And I'm sure I'd probably get, somewhat in trouble by not actively doing hard sells for, all of these new realtors to get us to 1,000. But and I'm joking about that, by the way. So
Disclaimer, he's
Right.
not. No.
we're all happy with the fact that it is a smaller group.
Yeah.
And as we grow, and although we are growing faster, we're growing with the right people, which is the important part.
And the vision.
Yes.
The other thing too, and Marcia said, every time you say this, I always giggle. But
I'm scared now.
but yeah, when we have someone, like we haven't really been actively recruiting in our area. We just pump out the marketing, right?
Yeah.
But Marcia's biggest thing is, we don't want to leg hump, and getting like that visual kind of makes me giggle every single time. Like Marcia is a very tall lady for anyone listening. So the fact that if she's been, anyways, I won't go into details, but traditionally what happens is you have multiple meetings, you have lunches, you court someone.
Yeah.
Stalk them even if you want. You're like, ooh, I casually noticed on your Snapchat for friend finder. No, you're in this location. But no, like normally you get the golf games, the lunches, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
And
The typical.
yeah, and we're like, no, let's host a business mixer. Come see our people. Let's
Yes.
host a charity event. Come see our people. Come see what we do. We
Yes.
don't want to just,
No.
again, leg hump. We want to,
I think that authenticity is the key.
yeah,
Where you are authentic and your true self, you give other people permission to do the same by
Mhm.
doing so. And we want to grow by design. We want to have more people who are, community minded, good realtors, work hard, work well as a group, work well individually, have all of those qualities. And like you said, you could probably grow very, very large, very exponentially.
Yeah.
But it just isn't in keeping with the kind of environment and vibe you want to have.
I agree. And if they don't see the vision, as you mentioned,
yeah,
then there's going to be high turnover and there's no buy-in.
that's
right?
just
Yeah.
it.
And what we like to foster in all of our offices is the fact that the support levels are so high that
Yes.
the people, if you only want to do one deal a year, that's fine. However, if you want to run your business effectively as possible and compete with, like the average realtor, average team in this, of the qualities of a top producer
Mhm.
is very difficult to compete with as a new realtor now.
Yeah.
Because for one, they have a recognizable brand,
Yep.
Mhm.
and because they've done so well, they've got tons of money to put into marketing. And one of the things that when I first joined Revel, this was so far back that we didn't have in-house marketing at the time. We had some training for sure, but nothing like what Revel is today. But what we found is that if we don't provide the support on A, how to do marketing,
Yep.
B, have access
Yes.
within a short period of time, or have access to somebody who could help you discover those branding issues that your first and second year realtors have.
Yeah.
You can
Right.
see
So with
them,
the in-house marketing, where we offered photos and videos at a discounted rate, we offered graphic design and logo and branding design at a discounted rate to encourage those realtors. But also, if you don't have that tight knit support system, there's no accountability for them to kind of implement all those services.
No, and also the one other thing that I really do enjoy about being a head coach with Revel is that you guys have given us some creative
License.
flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I think that as you grow and you have different brokerages in different areas, it's got to speak to its audience, right? So
Agreed.
with us, we were again just kind of chatting about that. We wanted something that's classy and clever, right?
Yes.
So it makes you think and it makes you pop, like it's poppy.
It's memorable.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and
memorable because it's different.
I think that's one of the things that really does attract people to us too.
Yeah. We don't tend to get a lot of cookie cutter people. All
Yeah.
of our
No.
folks are really unique in their
Yeah.
own ways, but they
I love
jive
it.
together so well.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that's really great about this model or this brokerage model is it's a really great fusion for anyone who has, like I said, I talk a lot about vision. So Nikki and Ryan obviously set up a family dynamic, and
Very
then
much.
you've come on board. The Mac,
Yep.
Jesse Evan came on board, and it just everybody still stays. Like the retention rate is huge.
Yes.
And I think that the 5 pillars, like from a coaching perspective, the 5 pillars: administration, sales, marketing, research and development, and charity events. I think that Revel embodies all of those 5 pillars.
Hugely.
And there's an ambassador for each, and everyone's very passionate about what they do. So I think that
Yeah.
that was another no brainer. It's like a plug in and play, and you get the support.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the retention because the people who are taking full advantage of what Revel offers, whether that be the support, the technology, the innovation, or for me, what I care a lot about is the growth opportunities.
Yeah.
For those people, those agents, those teams who took advantage of all of that, those are the people that are staying.
Yeah.
You know, we do
Absolutely.
have people, and again, you can't bat 100. You know what I mean? You can't
Never.
get everybody completely bought in and on board. So the turnover that we do see are those who usually don't take advantage of what is provided.
Yeah.
And I think that it's an interesting time in real estate. And I think anyone sitting here can attest to this. When we were licensed, it wasn't the order taking market. Anyone who was licensed post 2017 have become service oriented, like order takers, right? So I think everyone's looking for the next, like, where's my hot lead? Because they're so used to getting a lead and then running with it.
Yeah.
They don't know how to finesse it. They don't know how to, work a lead and that's one of the things that's great about the
Find
CRM.
it.
Yeah.
Find it, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Revel offers KV Core. So being able to nurture, data mine, and actually use the tools and resources creates a stronger realtor. But if you don't know how to plug into those things, and
Yes.
that's why I think Revel Ed is so crucial,
Yes.
right? There's a full calendar. Anyone can access it. I think all the
Great
pillars are in
feedback
place.
from our gals.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've seen some tremendous growth based on the information that they can obtain there.
Yeah.
Right. So how are you guys fostering your own culture in
Sorry.
the London area?
Wouldn't
There's a lot
you
of
like
culture.
to know?
Yes. I
Oh, we
would.
should have brought so we discovered Revel cider. There's an actual company
Is there?
in
There is.
there's a company in Guelph that produces Revel cider. They've got 3 different brands.
This is not where our culture all
No,
comes from.
no.
It doesn't hurt though.
Drinking.
Yeah.
We foster our culture by mimosas and cider. No,
Yeah.
just joking.
It doesn't hurt.
Like a little bit.
Doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Marcy, go ahead.
No, it's you were on a roll there. Go for it.
No, I jumped in. So with culture building, again, I think that it gets into creating an opportunity and growth environment, right? So if you're working on if you're working with a team or if you're working with a brokerage, leads, opportunity, and growth are things that people look for, but they're also looking for a family. And sometimes, like, we've gotten questions about our commission structure and stuff like that. And then some people don't care. They don't care about any of that. All they care about is that they can belong and they can participate in something. So we have our quarter supporters, or like we have different. Marcia is very, very passionate about charity events.
Extremely.
I love it. That's great.
Extremely. Everybody's got a place in our brokerage. Everybody's got things that they're passionate about, and we try and foster a way to explore all of them.
Yeah.
I'm not going to point anyone out singularly, but everybody's opinions are valued. Like we are a nice size where everybody has a voice, and it translates into action. We do a coat drive, and that gets us out into the community. People feel really, really fulfilled when they can give back. And I think
agree.
that as a realtor, we need to give back to the community that supports us. It's imperative.
Yeah.
Um,
and like, she's not even tooting her own horn as much as she should.
Yeah.
no.
Like-
It is a team effort.
Yeah, but
Right.
Big time.
like, you've organized, you've got your filter drive that's coming out. You've done the coat drive. We did the Ronald McDonald House. You put together the business mixer to start collaborating. Our biggest thing is collaborations, not competition.
Yes.
Huge.
So we've invited other realtors. We've invited other like sphere members.
We don't have a date for the next one, but I would love to see more Revel people, or anybody really, come out and meet and greet with the London community, London area businesses. We had all kinds of people there. I mean, we had a hotel representative, a lawyer, a massage therapist. Who else?
The one lady, she was in property management and development with her family.
Graphic designer.
Yeah.
Home inspector, like a gamut. And this is just...
And you have your self-defense thing. Like we're literally teaching them how to sell and kick ass.
Right?
So.
That's amazing.
So we have another seminar coming up in January where we're going to have Brad Fowler come and do a whole seminar about self-protection and how to avoid potentially bad situations and deal with it if it does happen.
Interesting.
But
I love that.
giving back to our community and then the community in general is a huge pillar.
Right.
I think of Revel and London Revel.
And she's got her warm and fuzzies, and then I'm like boot camp. And so
you are warm and fuzzy too. Don't kid yourself.
So I created the Talk Derby to me off to the races, and we have like a whole like game.
Of course you do.
Where like each week the girls have a weekly challenge because I gave them the boot camp basics to being a realtor, and no one wanted to do it. So I went on Amazon Canva, and I made my own like horse race chart, and
it's really good.
Marcia actually laminated and colored all the horses. It's really a group effort,
right?
And we like
plus and cut.
Right? Absolutely. But so we do weekly challenges, and like again, it's collaboration, right? And the one cool thing is that the girls are working together to help complete the challenges, so they all can rise together.
That's what's really incredible about this effort.
Awesome.
Nobody is competing. Like
I
thought that it might foster a sense of competition, but these girls, they legit want to make sure everybody else finishes their challenge.
I'm so proud of my ponies.
Yes.
Yeah. They're like, your horse is falling behind.
Seabiscuit's going to win.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing because we've had a lot of people on the podcast so far. Obviously, the number one theme has always been collaboration.
Good.
But what I'm seeing and feeling from this conversation more than any other podcast so far is that you guys really do put a lot of effort into the daily, weekly, monthly things that are important. Accountability, little mini competitions,
it's
friendly stuff,
really
and
incredible.
the support for your brokerage office.
Having Stacey able to bring some seriously professional coaching to the mix has been wonderful.
Well, that's right, because you're a coach with Kathleen Black, right?
Yeah, and Kathleen has
just got promoted too.
Yes. Yes, master coach. No, Kathleen has been fantastic, and my coaching peers are fantastic as well. But one of the things that I learned from Kathleen is to really find that area of genius. And that's one of the methods that she teaches. And once you're able to find and tap into someone's area of genius, it gives them self-validation. And when it gives them self-validation, they want to do more of that because it makes them feel good and it makes them feel valued and it gives them purpose. Yep. So we actually even have a unique structure where one of our agents, she used to be an administrator for Century 21. She's now part-time admin for us, and she just had a baby and she didn't want to be home. So we said, bring the baby in. So we have that. And then another one of our agents wanted to learn how to be a brokerage manager. So we created a junior sales position for her, sales manager. And now she's our accountability coach.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
They're all amazing,
Yeah,
but
and
I'm
then-
really impressed.
Yeah. And Dee has like a knack for marketing. So we created a junior marketing. So we want to give them the chance to rise to their true potential. It helps us because then we can
Absolutely.
do the things that we love doing the most.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we're all about helping foster growth opportunity, like I said.
Yeah.
And, you know, it gives them something to look forward to. And together we all just rise above.
Rising tides floats all boats.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And snitches get stitches. What? Just joking.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
this took a turn.
So,
Pivot.
I like that because you're providing, bits of responsibilities.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first started real estate,
Mhm.
I came from a position where I was very high powered position. And I thought like, hey, if I can do that, like real estate, come on, I don't need
Mhm.
anybody. I can just focus on me, do my own
Mm.
sales, do this, do
Yeah.
that. And a year went by and I realized how lonely the real estate actually is.
It can be.
So I find some people say the same thing. I don't care what the split is, man. Just sign me up. I
Yeah.
just want to be a part of something
Yeah.
where, 50% for team members, 50% of something is something, 100% of nothing is nothing.
Yeah.
Where, had I had learned that early on, maybe my business would be a little bit different. I probably wouldn't change much as it is now because I'm sitting here talking with you, lovely ladies.
Yeah.
However,
Lucky
what I
us.
find is that those new people don't really understand how lonely the business can be. And when they get into a position where they've now joined you guys and they can truly be a part of a family, a part of a different style of culture that they probably haven't seen from other brokerages before. And then now you're giving them some bit of responsibility so that their input matters.
Yeah.
And
That's
that's
exactly
super
it.
important, right?
Valuing the individuality and finding a way to weave it into the tapestry of Revel London. That's what we've done.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And WestJet actually did so I come from the marketing background degree of things in my education.
Yeah.
And WestJet actually was one of the first companies where they offered their employees a partnership, and they offered them, a piece of the pie. And they found that their employees were taking ownership,
Yeah.
and that's kind of
Mhm.
like we don't call anyone an employee; we
No.
call them equals because we're all
Colleagues.
colleagues.
Yeah.
And it's so weird, like if we're out with the girls and they're like, "That's our boss," and I'm like, "Oh, weird."
Stop.
I
The
know.
B word. That is so
I get
weird.
that
Yeah.
too.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
I'm
no.
that's
And did I
weird.
become an adult?
It's
Yeah.
strange though because we're all independent contractors technically.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
And I think
Yep.
some of us got
Yeah.
into real estate, me for one, because it was nice to have the ability to direct your own success or failure, and not have to answer to a boss.
Right.
And I think that that structure exists for all of our gals. They don't really have to answer to anybody,
Right.
but they still feel that they need to maintain a certain level of performance or effort to kind of
Yeah.
foster other people.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Yeah.
interesting because, it's something that's um, missing in, my office to a degree where, some people have been in the business 20 years. Some people have just got in the business or they're still doing it part-time. And, getting them into the office it can be difficult, right? But, we're working on it. And, a lot of the new people that have come in the last 90 days or so, they're all super, super engaged. I come into the office now
Oh,
and they're all
nice.
sitting there. It's really, really good to see. And, we're doing monthly lunches.
Nice.
We're going to do a Christmas thing. So we always try to get together and do some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
definitely.
what does the future look for the London office?
Oh, expansion. I
Yeah.
don't think that we ever want to be a mega brokerage. I always
Right.
want to have that family vibe. How many that is hard to say, but I know that there are more people who align with what we're doing, and we would love to have their energy. I certainly think that it's going to be a market where people need to do more servicing and more finding their people than just waiting for the phone to ring. So I think,
Yeah.
the sad thing is, I think we're going to see a bunch of realtors leave the market where they've gotten used to just having the phone ring.
Yeah.
But the people with the energy and that vibe higher, I think those people are coming.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that a lot of people look at real estate as a job or even a career, where that's not the case at all. It's this is your business. This is
Yes.
your business.
Yeah.
It is kind of a lifestyle. You're right. Yeah.
Well, and one of the questions so this time of year is business planning year, right? So, and yes, you have to do it. If you're a real estate agent, you have to
course,
have
really
an idea. And the three questions that when I went on my solo journey to Australia, and the three questions that kept popping up for me were, what's my value? What's my purpose? What's my legacy? So we've challenged the girls to actually kind of answer that for themselves. And when I say what's my value, it's not what do you value, because everybody always, oh, my family, my children, fluffy answers. And like,
Yes.
what's your tangible value? What's something you can sell? What's something I can trade this for that? So what's your value? And be unapologetically sure about it. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
can say my value is I'm a great multifaceted organizer. Like I can handle a million things at once and do it with a twinkle in my eye and a smile.
Yeah, you do.
And you know what I mean? Like I think that's a tangible asset that not a lot of people. I'm a great systems and operations administrator. But I think that there's a lot of guilt from some agents where, and I find it especially in females. No offense to the dudes, but like guys are like, yeah, I'm great at this. I'm super Captain Awesome at that, and you know what I mean.
Yep.
Well,
But
what did I say the other day?
you're awesome.
Well, yes.
After
but
that.
so
and you have great pants.
but remember
I'm just
that
joking.
triggering
Yeah.
question I posted on Facebook
Yeah.
about ego.
Ego and
Everything
selfishness.
you just said
Yeah.
to me
Yeah.
sounds like, I know ego was the triggering word. I did that on purpose.
I was laughing. I'm like, how many times do you get a response? Like, because it's so hard not to respond. And I was like, I was trying to put myself in your shoes, being like, oh, another person saying the same thing about ego and selfishness. But you're right, it's
Yeah.
trigger dialogue. Anyways,
Right?
back
It
to you,
is.
Andrew.
So the question I asked is that it takes a certain degree of ego to become successful. And I knew it was a triggering word, but everything, like I said, you just mentioned, what's my value?
Yep.
And it takes a little bit of ego to become self-perspective. That's a word, right?
Yep.
It is now.
To look
at
in,
least.
to look inside and say, okay, what am I good at?
Yeah.
What have I done, and what am I going to do that is going to allow me to deserve that type of success?
I think ego is like the fart smell of, for lack of a better word, of confidence. Like when you hear the word ego, people make that like
I know,
that like cringe, like, oh my god, who farted in the room face, right? But like it's true. Like I hear you, I see you. But everyone's like, ego, no, that's
I know.
negative. Let's say confidence.
That
Let's
was the
say
whole. That was the
yeah.
whole point of it, because I read a book, and I thought this was
read or listen to. Just
both for this one.
Ooh.
I listened to it first, but I
Nice.
have it physically,
Nice.
and then I started reading it because I did buy it first. I'm sorry, but then I was like, I'm gonna listen to it, and then I picked it up because I get so alter ego,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and it's all about because Kobe Bryant always said to himself, I have to become the person that Michael Jordan is
Yeah.
in order to become better than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's how I think about myself, is that, okay, what would a top selling realtor do? What would a top earning CEO do? I have to then become that person. So again, a triggering thought or word, but when you look at it, it makes total sense.
It's the easiest way to boil it down.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a very simple label
Don't
to
reinvent
give it.
the wheel,
Right?
like you said.
Yeah, full disclosure, I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, this is such a Kate Broderick outfit of the day. And I was like
See?
channeling my inner Kate. Yeah, totally.
But
Shout out to Kate.
But I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
See, we're
Yeah.
all on the same wavelength here,
Yeah.
people. Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of
Vibes.
instances where I say Ryan Saravelli would do this.
Yeah.
Ryan would run his business this way. Ryan would talk to that client this way, because I've worked with him so much, and I've been blessed to hear him He'd be randomly talking to his client on the phone in front of me. I'm like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
We're here as professionals. We should be talking to our clients as professionals and guiding them, not order takers and service, whatever you said, right? So it's interesting where you do have to become that alter ego state in order to break through the next ceiling.
Is Dean your jacket guy? You're like, what kind of like jacket would Dean wear?
No.
Because you guys do compete a little on the Flash.
Well, you know what? Oh, since COVID, I've kind of stopped.
No.
Like I've weird. Okay, so this is an educational English.
How old are your children again?
Yeah. So,
True.
I've become like a Mark Zuckerberg type now,
Nice.
where it's like I can't. My mind is already out the door by the time I've woken up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like to put on a full suit. It's just not me anymore.
And that's wonderful to live with that much passion, though.
I
where
think
you're
so.
already in the game before you're even going physically. That's amazing.
It's very true, and thank you very much. It's very true because I've as soon as I wake up, there's really not much that's on my mind other than like, okay, what are we gonna kick ass today? What's next?
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that zest.
So, what kind of, from a coaching perspective,
Yes.
how important is it that somebody, and again, this might not be a realtor who's looking to hire a coach, but how important is it for somebody to choose a realtor, to choose a brokerage that has some type of coaching aspect or educational aspect?
Okay. I think that.
I mean, obviously, I do believe everybody should have a coach, but
Yeah. All right. I will take it from here. Let me do some like flexing. All right.
Ready, Freddie.
Yeah. I think it's the difference between joining. Do you play sports?
yes,
What sports do you play?
hockey's my number one.
Okay. So have you played professionally?
Not really, but competitively.
Okay. So you've played competitively versus house league, right?
Yes.
So I guess the difference I could say is if you're in the game to play and just have fun and just see what comes your way, then that's a realtor who doesn't need coaching. If you're a realtor who wants that's going to help you sharpen your skills, that's going to give you some honest feedback, that's going to say, hey, you need to do this to get to there. If you want to win, if you want to achieve these KPIs, if you want to achieve these goals, let's create a work back schedule. Let's create a training program. It's the same thing as if you're at the gym, right?
Yes.
You can go to the gym and do your cardio, but if you hire a trainer, then you can compete in shows. And Marcia is actually expert at that. It's the difference between.
We dabbled.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
But they talk about your nutrition, they talk about your exercise, they talk about your mindset. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the difference and KBCC coaching is very different because with Kathleen Black, we focus on a holistic approach, right? So Kathleen's background is really unique. A, she's female in a male dominant business.
Yes.
So there's a different perspective immediately put on that. B, she has, many accreditations.
Yeah, there you go.
Like the aluminum I can't.
Accredited. Something
Thank
or
you,
other.
Asians. That one. All right. But yeah, she has many different vocational training. There we go.
Yeah.
But so one of the things that we do have coaches on is neurolinguistic programming. So NLP. We also have scripting. We also have listing systems, buyer systems, admin systems, full big box systems operations, how to phase out of your business if you're in the latter parts of your career, where some of the coaching systems it's like coaching in a box. So it doesn't matter what level you're at, where you are in your career, this is what we're going to train you on. And it is what it is. I find with KBCC, you get to level up and you choose the coach that best fits you where you are. So a lot of times we'll actually swap out clients. Like I'll work with someone for a couple months. And then if I'm like, okay, because there's so many different pivots in the real estate market that I think when someone's ready to pivot, then they need to go to the next coach, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think that mindset, much like sports, is very important in real estate because if your mind isn't in it And if you're worried about your finances, if you're worried about your family, if you're worried about so many other different things going on, sales is the last thing you're going to focus on. So if we can clear your stinking thinking, then we will get back to business.
Yeah.
Right.
So there you go.
That's lovely because you know what? I think I'm going to use that.
Stinking thinking.
No, not that one.
I love making you giggle.
In the
Andrew.
recruiting meetings.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, if you want to join those, 100% commission brokers, it's fine. You want to play in the sandbox, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you want to win, and if you want to join a team that promotes growth and the willingness to do whatever it takes, then this is
Creativity.
us.
Well,
It's an out of the box approach.
it really is. And the other thing that we get all the time is like sometimes some of the people I coach, they're like, they've got like 3 million GCI. And they're like, how do you coach someone with 3 million GCI? I'm like, the same way someone coaches like an all-star quarterback. I don't have to be, what favorite team do you have? I'm not going to shout out Aaron Rodgers.
We're talking about
yeah.
NFL?
Yeah. What's your favorite quarterback, or Tony, or one of
Well, Brady for sure.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Brady. So I don't have to be Brady to coach you to be Brady. Brady's coach doesn't
Right.
have the same stats, right? So the whole thing is to provide the tools, the resources, and the motivation to get you in the game, right? So you can be the best Brady you can be.
Interesting. Because I have a coach as well, and that's you do go through that. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, what is the point of this week's call?
Yeah.
And you really get into it and you discover, well, okay, well, if I didn't have this call, what would I have let slip over the past week
Yep.
that maybe I didn't know was slipping? Because no matter if you're making $100,000 a year or $3 million a year,
Mhm.
there's always potential to lose track of something or let
Yep.
something fall through the cracks. So, okay, we're almost out of time here. So is there anything else that you guys want to talk about, or?
Marcia wanted to talk about your Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, that was phenomenal. No, I was just basically going to say it was very impressive.
Well, thank you so much. Again, something charity focused
Yes.
that put us out there.
Yeah.
I think Ryan saw how much fun it was, and I think he'll be doing
I
it
hope
next year,
so.
hopefully. Yeah.
Nice. That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah.
It's an example of,
Yeah.
of how you can maintain your uniqueness, your authenticity to self, and still align with, the Revel colors.
I agree. And I believe that, there's always ways to stand. Oh, so this morning
Yes.
I sent out, as I do normally every weekday, sometimes on the weekend, depending on what's been going on the night before. My kids are usually up and crazy and keeping me up. And sometimes I'm not as motivated to send out my morning emails. But so I send out morning emails to the team. And it's usually motivational focus with a YouTube video and some type of explanation or motivational sequence. And today it was separate yourself, stand out. And I believe that's what Revel is standing out. What one way to do charity and just, have a simple food drive, which is effective and it works and we love it. But, what are other ways that we can get people talking?
Yeah.
Well, you had a fantastic idea. We started this a few years ago. Yeah, you know where I'm going. We were at the local mall yesterday, dressed as
Maple Oak?
Masonville.
Okay.
Yeah, dressed as superheroes. So we
Yeah,
had
see?
Supergirl
Yeah,
and
our
Wonder
holiday
Woman,
heroes.
Right?
and we were the holiday heroes. I mean, in reality, the people who are donating to the Salvation Army campaign, those are the holiday heroes.
Yep.
But we'll take some of the holiday hero-ness.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So you guys all dress up in superhero costumes.
Yeah. So this is our 3rd year running
Yeah.
at Masonville Mall. And it's funny because this year the staff from Masonville actually come
gosh,
down
yes.
and like they say that they hear all over the mall at the customer service.
They know when
that-
we're there.
Yeah.
The kids will.
They're like, the superheroes
Yeah.
are here.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anytime anyone donates, usually we take a picture with them or we take a picture of them donating. And
Yeah.
again, it's because one of the things that we wanted to change, the first year we did it was a COVID year. So they couldn't have a Santa. So we're like, oh, that sucks.
It
Because
is,
yeah.
we're like, Santa's like a kind of a big
He's
deal.
a fixture of
Exactly.
Christmas, like
Of
the
course.
visit to Santa.
Yeah. So we wanted to do something that would bring joy to children and
Yeah.
people of all ages. And what else more is like a
I
superhero,
know.
right?
Yeah.
I know. Like
So-
the reception is incredible.
We had people that were like in their 80s and 90s
Yeah.
going up to her and being like, Wonder Woman came out when I was in my teens.
Yes. Oh,
And
it's
we're
so
like, oh, man.
heartwarming.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the stuff that really sets my heart aflame. Like
Yeah.
it's just
See, I love it.
But again, it's about taking something and twisting it from a different perspective
Yeah.
and a different point of view, but giving back. So it's a win for us, it's a
Yep.
win for them, and it's a win for the charity.
Yep.
And it also breaks the stigma that Salvation Army is just for old people and it's just stuffy, like old people jingling
Oh.
bells. It didn't
Yeah.
have to be like that, and it doesn't have to be like that.
Yeah.
Well, we look around and we see how people are doing things. We see a lot of ideas that have happened before.
Yep.
And we see a lot of people who are trying to be like everybody else. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that the idea of trying to be like everybody else is tragic. Absolutely
It is
tragic.
tragic. Yes.
We have lost a lot of individuality. And in doing so, we've made it not okay for people to express themselves. And I think by doing things like this and breaking the mold and being different, we're going to attract more of those people,
I
but we're
agree.
going to empower those people to bring more good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It's a snowball effect. And I want to see more authenticity and more uniqueness and more people being themselves.
That's great. I love it. And that's a good spot to end. Powerful,
Definitely.
impactful, and hopefully inspires change.
I hope so.
Absolutely.
All right. So where can people find you guys if they were interested in, joining the team?
Revel Realty London. So we're all over Facebook. We're all over Instagram. We are in Wortley Village at 190 Wortley, in the lower level. So you guys can come visit us and come give us a chat.
Grab a coffee.
Yeah, or you
have a
can.
tour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe have a Revel cider. I don't know.
Lovely.
Not saying
Yeah.
that's what's in the fridge.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And,
Thanks.
for those of you who are listening or watching, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that cool stuff, and reach out anytime.